Albert Einstein once said, "If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." What was your moment when someone judged you like that?
I'm from the US. I lived in Argentina for a little bit as a kid. At a parent-teacher conference early in the school year, one art teacher had to break it to my parents that I might be mentally disabled because I don't respond or participate. They let her know I didn't speak any Spanish. At the time, she had no idea because no one told her, and my name is Spanish and it just didn't occur to her.
Creo que su hijo podría tener problemas mentales.
Huh, what? Ah, sí, muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
I think your child might be mentally challenged.
No, he's just American.
Currently at the moment, I am in France for a few months. I can barely speak French and my teachers think I am mentally challenged, even though I was acing my classes back home.
Even when you become fluent, they'll still think you're challenged. Source: lived in France for years.
Once, someone on Reddit started complaining about something, and said I wasn't a real man for a bunch of reasons. I'm a woman, so they're not exactly wrong.
I get that all the time too. My personal favorite was when I said, "It's difficult to date lesbians." It's a common issue with women that they were taught men should make the first move, so with two girls no one wants to move first. Everyone assumed I was a dude harassing lesbians and trying to make them straight, which is why they wouldn't go out with me. Made the comment before going to work and I had -200 by lunch.
I had someone tell me once,
"You're just jealous you can't get your stick wet."
well, you're right, I can't, because I don't have one.
Once while drunk at a bar, I told a girl that I was hitting on, that I was just trying to get my stick wet. She asked the bartender for a glass of water, then dumped it in my lap and said,
Mission accomplished.
I laughed hard as hell. Then it hit me that now I looked like I was so drunk that I pissed my pants.
I didn't say that about the stupid fish climbing trees.
Albert Einstein.
I didn't kill myself.
Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein didn't kill himself.
In high school I was really good at debate and aced all my government classes. However, I had to take a pottery class for an art credit. I sucked hardcore. My vase looked like some bees had taken crack before they built their hive. The teacher legitimately thought I was special needs. 2 years later I was working retail to help put myself through college. I ran into the teacher one day.
It is so awesome you have a job. Good for you.
I felt like Kevin Malone being patronized by Holly Flax. My mother loves to tell this story to her friends.
I was that fish trying and failing to climb the tree, and my boss called to offer me a position swimming. That time my boss called me to tell me I sucked at my job, but followed it up by telling me I got crazy good comments about this one small part of my job, so would I like to do that full time. Did the new thing for 6 years, and used it to land another, even better, position at the same company. Thanks for recognizing my talents, old boss. You were a bit of a shit boss, but when it mattered you really were a help. Edit: since so many are asking, here's actual detail. Moved from software implementation, which had a bit of a teaching component to it, to formally teaching how to use the software. Have since moved into writing the content that is taught.
When I was in the Navy, I used to get in fairly frequent trouble for the suggestions I made for improving operational efficiencies. As an outside contractor, they were quite happy to pay me $200 an hour to say the exact same thing.
Personal change must come from within. Organizational change must come from without.
The Fortune 500 company I freelance with would prefer to use an outside vendor for a project, thinking they would do a better job since that's all they do. That vendor then hires me at my same rate, meaning the original company is just paying more for me to do the work I could have done internally. Moral of the story: if you charge more, people will think you're worth more. A $6 bottle of wine may be better than a $45 bottle, but most people will say the $45 bottle must be better, because why else would it be $45?
That reminds me of this one thing I saw, where someone started selling their art, but they had low prices, in the hopes people would be willing to buy, since it wouldn't cost much. They were struggling to make sales and looking for advice, and someone said to raise the prices for the same pieces, from like $10 to $50, and it actually worked. Human psychology is nuts.
In school I was too nerdy for the jocks and too jockish for the nerds. Now that we have all grown up, I take everyone's money in fantasy football.
Improvise, adapt, overcome, smart moves, my friend.
When HR at a company had me interview for a different position than I had applied for, the position they interviewed me for was one I knew nothing about, and told them as much, despite me telling them before each round of interviews that they had made a mistake. I still had to endure a full day of people asking me questions that I had no answer to.
I'm literally not the right person for the job and you shouldn't hire me.
He's so honest and insightful, hire him ASAP.
They asked me how well I understood theoretical physics. I said I had a theoretical degree in physics. They said,
"Welcome aboard."
Oof, sounds like you dodged a bullet though, if HR was that incompetent.
They probably had someone in mind, but needed to interview someone objectively worse than their preferred person, so it didn't look like favoritism.
I hadn't considered that angle. However, they flew me in, picked me up in a black car, put me up in a nice hotel. Would be a hell of a play if true.
You would seriously be surprised by how much money a company will pay a recruitment agency for candidates, in particular, in the senior or above levels in IT, sick money.
Playing sports growing up, I would make these comically bad errors. The ball would hit me directly in the face or I would swing at a pitch way too late. Everyone gave me shit, even the coaches and parents. I kept playing because I enjoyed being active and around my friends, but I never understood why no matter how much I practiced I struggled with basic things that everyone else could do without thinking. I go to the eye doctor as an adult, and he tells me that I have a condition in one of my eyes that means I don't have binocular vision, and as a result have very poor depth perception. It's physically impossible for me to track a moving object in space like everyone else.
I know the pain, mate. I was forced to play volleyball in high school even though I obviously couldn't follow the ball. I was once looking right at it but couldn't spot it, and it hit me right in the face. Turns out I have a retinitis pigmentosa, which not only means I can't follow objects, but I can't see at night. My peripheral vision sucks, and anything that requires precision movement is out of the question. Thankfully, I'm great in other fields that do not require good eye coordination.
Once at my workplace, I asked for help to open a box, because I really couldn't open it. This one girl I worked with looked at me with disgust, and didn't help me. She later talked shit about me and said I'm effing stupid. I was born with polydactyly and they cut off my 2 extra fingers and fixed a lot of stuff. I can't use all my fingers properly. By the way, you Sarah. Edit. Wow, I never thought that a comment about calling out Sarah's bull crap would be my most upvoted one, nor that it would blow up like that. Thank you, kind strangers.
I'm 6'6", and I suck at basketball.
Should have been 6'7", better luck next life.
I'm a 6'1" woman, and have tried various sports time and time again, but I'd just much rather talk shit out than angrily throw balls at people. When people ask if I play sports, they are visibly shook that I never really took to anything. Edit. Yes, I could have been a contender, lol, but being a super tall teenage girl isn't fun, so I tried to not stand out, and thus shied away from things, in other words sports, that would draw attention to me. Adult me regrets it, but that's life.
I was a ballerina and I always had a hard time picking up choreography. Other dancers could watch a dance once and know it, some could even do it from a video. I needed to be shown a combination a few times, and to go over it a few more, and even then I would forget it the next day. I felt really stupid. Anyway, ballet didn't really work out, and now I have a PhD, so I'm not a complete idiot.
I was teased a lot in middle school / early high school for loving hockey, would constantly get my knowledge tested, my appearance would get brought into it. Why would a fat girl like hockey? Had someone ask me if it was my passion and laugh in my face when I said yes. Joke's on them. I'm an officially credentialed journalist by the NHL now and have personally spoken to more players than they could dream of buying autographs from.
Hey, you're doing computer science, right? Can you fix my PC?
My computer science degree did not train me to fix computers. I am just better at Google than my relatives.
More like less lazy. Using Google isn't rocket science. The number of times I've had somebody ask me a question, just to type it out exactly as they asked it in front of them in Google, to get a quick, correct answer without having even to navigate away, is insane.
It's not laziness, it's fear. Most people in my experience don't really know how a computer works, so they can't tell whether they're doing something dangerous. That means they tend to stick on the safe side and not do anything.
All my wife's friends and my family think because I work in IT as a programmer, that I have nothing better to do than provide free technical support for their laptop/television/smartphone/Alexa/etc. No, I will not fix your slow busted computer that's a decade old. Buy a new computer.
Maybe for some it won't be a situation like the Einstein quote, but I felt like a fish trying to climb a tree. A few months ago. Got an interview opportunity. I finished all tests with almost 100% and finished the first 2 interviews quite good, and when I got to the last one they started asking me questions that had nothing to do with my profession. I was completely silent because it has nothing to do with what I studied. I think that, I even looked like a fish gasping for water. After they started to make fun of me, I just walked out.
I was forced to attend art classes and team sports physical education in school. It's mandatory until year 11, and for art year 13, those 2 classes made sure that, A, my average was ruined, I can't draw or throw a ball even if my life depended on it, got the grades to match, and, B, in my most awkward social phase, I got humiliated regularly by well-meaning teachers who couldn't understand that being good at math and physics does not translate into drawing or predicting a ball's movement, forcing me to do it again, and again, and again, while the whole class enjoyed the show.
I understand your frustrations, however, I think it's important to work on body coordination, at least until you have a basic proficiency. It comes into play often in life, from slipping on ice in the winter to assembling IKEA furniture in your home. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.